Minto's short stories and fables.
Title is Bus Number 007. I was going from nowhere to nowhere. These two places are slightly apart, and to fill the vacuum, destiny slips in. Since I wanted to go, it took me for a ride. That's how I boarded that bus from nowhere place to nowhere town. I was the last passenger and got to stand at the one and only exit entrance door. I believe the bus had one apolitical emergency door too, which for some political namesake was always kept firmly shut. The conductor was collecting money and issuing tickets to the seated passengers. Those who were standing did not have a seat, so did not get a ticket. But since they were being taken, they had to pay. The bus had more standing capacity. Black Hole of Calcutta would have looked like a five-star disco in comparison. Conductor always did not have the change to give back to anybody. Few who tried to give the exact amount found that all their RBI notes were faulty or forged. Lastly, he came to me as his seat was next to the door. I handed him the money. He did not give back the change, which was more than the fare itself, and smiled. This he had not done with others. At my age, the smile did not mean which it did not mean, so I took it as a compliment to my fair skin, being a foreigner from the other state in the same country. Skin was the deciding factor which belonged to the era of a race which is now only grimy and sooty. I smiled back. It was to pay dividends later. Indian unity is a great boon. We fight amongst ourselves. If we were disunited, we would have friendly, neighborly, diplomatic relations with each other. In that case, we could turn towards neighborly, diplomatic, unfriendly countries to fight with disastrous results. My only complaint is that we fight in a disorderly, unprofessional way. A riot in Aligarh has a Hindu backlash in Hyderabad at any time, at a wrong time, and at such a short notice. Instead, states could organize their regular armies to settle all scores. UP could invade AP. They could choose MP as a battlefield for a fee for space, rations, horse, and neutral umpires, etc. No army fights on an empty stomach and on full libido. This would create a healthy atmosphere for the common man, as the dates for such wars could be arranged on the style of cricket, football, World Cup, etc. well in advance. It was very hot. It was very, very hot. It was very, very humid. It was very, very dark. It was very, very late. It was very, very silent. As prohibition was on, it was very, very stinking. We all waited. I felt lonely without the right sting emitting from my nostrils. But outside it was festive. Laughter came openly without the fear of being caught inside. Warm goodbyes in slurring bonhomie echoed. One could see a ray of hope from the lit cigarettes. Then there was a roar and a final goodbye. The door of the driver's side opened with a much raped protest. It also brought a fresh and a perfumed smell of IMFL. Along it came a dark, huge figure which slumped on the seat and made a sound which included three large burps apart from the general ho ho. The door closed and there was quiet. One could see that the driver was thinking of driving the bus. Timing was essential. Timing was essential. We spent a few moments in the eternal bliss of the 2 minutes silence. What happened next, I am not sure. As we were mobile with a leap, all of the bus rattled, few unnecessary pieces of equipment and some wasteful pieces of greedy passengers departed. I could not see as the headlights were being prepared for the blackout practice. If you have seen in a motion picture the description of what happens when someone travels at the speed of light, you have seen nothing. They use all sorts of trick photography to show you what can be easily seen even with one's second hand sloppy, slow, and rusty minds. I saw it, I experienced it, I was myself traveling in it. It was no trick. Village lights became glorious as in a third-rate mythological film set with all the 33 crore gods lined up behind the bushes, which in turn became a straight line of Gucci green belt. I saw a couple of gods, they had become one, wooing me at turns. This is wrong that light travels in a straight line. At turns, earth looked round and not flat as it is. Sounds of the jungle became music of the DD on the death of a head of the state, and it was for my pleasure it was being played. Tongue of my mouth felt the taste of a very fast food joint where the distance from the main door to the counter was roughly 1,000 kilometers. Suddenly the bus stopped. It was not a stop where there is a slow and a stop. It was a stop, a full stop. I do not know what happened to the rest of the passengers, but my blood was hosed from my head and was spilling on my shirt. The grill of the bus showed neither injury nor emotion. Then came to me my that smile to help. The conductor inspected the wound, went to a box marked with reddish color plus sign, which looked something like plus, put his hand by way of inspection and came up with some bottle which had a clear sign of XXX. I feigned faintness, hoping for a large share. I really fainted when the driver gleefully snatched it and put it to his mouth for an eternity. Conductor was whispering something to him in pleading tones. Driver was listening to him. He poured a capful and though I tried very hard to put my mouth in place of my wound, the conductor rubbed it on my wound. The dividend was paid. The bus had stopped to show to the rest of the world that as in the case of the country, we can accommodate any number of people as we are good hosts. The passengers who came in were pushed till the end of the road, which was at the very back. The bus reverberated like a woman who has had one orgasm and was waiting for another. The driver started the foreplay, the bottle in one hand, cigarette in the other. both on clitoral steering. This time he wanted slow, easy, and tender, as described in all forms of vulgar arts. By way of fondling the breasts, he also switched on the headlights, started the music, and hummed to it with frequent short intervals caused by his gulping the rum or having a puff. He was driving at the left side of the road. Passengers on the right side of the bus could see the various new makes of the vehicles and the prosperity of the nation coming from the opposite direction. Then he turned French and started driving at the right side of the road so the left could also enjoy the same. Finally, he started driving in the middle of the road so that all could enjoy. I got the impression that he was a general leading his army and successfully penetrating the enemy by his advance. Then the realization dawned on me that we, the passengers, were the enemy. He was a military genius. He was defeating us all with his back towards us. A passenger lost his cold, rotten, sullen, stupid nerve. He approached him with a language of protest. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the driver slowly turned, fully facing the man. There was an instant shouting by all and the other passengers, and the passenger was dragged back. If space had permitted, he would have been lynched. If one has to lose, one would do so without a traitor amongst. A dim, grimy building came inside and he stopped near it. This was the place where drivers came to stop and was called a bus stop. There was a huge sigh of relief from all the passengers, which made the air moist, and in a second it reached the hot roof and it started raining heavily inside the bus. Then we all felt a grand jerk. He was showing that he had a reverse gear too, which could work in any direction he wanted. Some such driver should be sent to the front in case of war, in reverse gear, and we won't need the army at all. Finally he stopped, really stopped. All waited. Only after he got out and banged the door that we started coming out. I got down and saw, by chance, the number of the bus. It was 007.